I'm Rex Rogosh, and let's queer up the worldview. Canada opens National 2SLGBTQI plus monument to honor purge survivors in Ottawa. Canada is officially opening the 2SLGBTQI plus National Monument in Ottawa to memorialize the historical discrimination endured by queer Canadians, particularly during the federal LGBTQ purge. Located near the Ottawa River, the 11-meter structure titled Thunderhead acknowledges thousands of service members, RCMP officers, and federal public servants who faced career termination or harassment from the 1950s through the 1990s due to their identity. Funding for the landmark stems directly from a 2018 legal settlement between the federal government and purge survivors, managed by the LGBT Purge Fund. Designed by Public City, the monument features a mirrored cloud column surrounded by an Indigenous healing circle, an orchard, and performance space. Highlighting the historic weight of the space, former Supreme Court Justice and Governor General Louise Arbour is set to speak at the opening ceremony. Organizers emphasize that the site serves as both a place of quiet reflection on past injustices and a permanent venue for future community gatherings, education, and artistic expression. I mean, isn't this a change to see a government say, oh, we screwed up, we did something about it, and now we're going to immortalize it so that we don't screw up again, hopefully. But I don't want to make light of this. I mean, this is actually really great. I mean, as in our country, we see so many monuments to things that have happened historically, our history books, all of these things starting to be erased and whitewashed from
in the process of being whitewashed.
Exactly. So it's really refreshing to see a government say, hey, we screwed up. There was a court battle. We paid out. I hate the fact that it's called The Purge because that just reminds me of movies.
But actually, it is not inaccurate. If I remember correctly, the Canadian federal government even tried to invent a quote-unquote fruit machine. It's basically a lie detector to weed out LGBTQ people from the federal government and from the police and from the military.
Wow.
And so it's kind of, I guess, like a lie detector. I'm not sure, and don't quote me on that. But I see that as a trend. Canada did it. Britain did it. They also publicly apologized to the thousands and thousands of people that were jailed under the anti-homosexuality law up until the 1960s. And there is a reckoning coming to people. There should be apologies to people who are oppressed. There should be apology and compensation for those who have been persecuted. Hell, even Germany paid out to, because in Germany, anti-gay repression continued after the Holocaust. They used the same paragraph that the Nazis used to oppress the gay community all the way into the 1970s. And now all these governments are having to hand over cash and apologize and build monuments. I think that's a great idea.
No, I think there's some there. One, the historical facts about Canada, it always amazes me just how much Canada will commit American crimes. Because they always find themselves to be
homophobia was pretty global back then.
Yeah, but Canada had the history of following America and then pretending that it's morally superior to America, and I always find that interesting. But on this particular issue, I see one. I guess my first concern is I'm used to memorials being more for when people have died, and that doesn't sound like what happened here. So I'm a little hesitant to say this is amazing. Would this money have been better used helping Canadians that are dealing with LGBTQ discrimination? But you're also honest on that, but we really haven't had a reckoning. There are people alive today in America that have been very homophobic, and as recently as the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and we've never really made them come to terms with that and do any reparations around that. And I think maybe it is time that we start thinking.
Yeah, but this is, we're sitting in the United States of America where even slavery reparations is a problem.
Right.
So something that happened, we happened to stop in 1865.
True, but people who have done very racist things over the last few decades, when that comes to light, we do tend to have at least a reckoning with them.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of a former Virginia governor who got a photo of him by blackface or something in the 80s. This happened in 2016. It was a huge scandal. We still wanted to rectify that. I don't see people doing that when people's homophobia is called out.
No.
Well, I mean, partially because homophobia is still rampant, and it is still a global problem.
Absolutely.
And
The creation of Stonewall National Monument is a tiny step forward, but that is a tiny step, literally just to park in front of Stonewall Inn.
right.
I mean, we do have, I guess, in a way, an LGBTQ national monument, but it's not like it's built in Washington D.C. and there's a whole thing.
Well, just I was gonna say, just in general, we don't have a lot of LGBT monuments.
No.
As a former resident of DC, you have the monuments to all the presidents and the wars and the people who died during the wars. You have some Civil War, some civil rights monuments. That's about it.
And somehow we're building an arch for
Oh,
that guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I mean, this is great. This is a good step forward. Is there always room for improvement? Sure. But the fact that we have it in a nation who's recognizing that they did something that was inappropriate and wrong, whether it had been a global phenomenon or not, they recognize it was wrong. They're trying to make right by it, and hopefully, not repeat it. And this will then open the door to allow for other reparations for other things that are still happening to this day. So, well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.